Good morning, Dr. Sheena. How are you
Hello, how
today?
are you?
I am very good. Thank you. I'm so excited to meet with you today. I've been, interviewing various shape practitioners from different disciplines, and I wanted to interview you. So, to everyone, this is Dr. Sheena Joseph. She's an amazing shape practitioner. She attended our first ever symposium in 2012, and you jumped on board as a shape practitioner then. And you had a chiropractic practice and you began adding shape and doing more internal healing with your patients above and beyond just what chiropractic could do, healing for
Yeah.
your patients. But since then, you've injured your shoulder, and I believe you said like 5 different ways. You've injured this crazy shoulder
Yeah.
5 different
Yes.
ways. And so you've laid down your chiropractic practice and you've gone 100% to to a telemedicine remote practice. So talk to me about that. Talk to me about laying down, chiropractic and just going 100% remote and working from a home office.
Oh, this is gonna be a long story, but I'll try to keep it brief. But the long and the short of it is that my husband just kept being like, because I would do so many things. Like one day, like 1 minute I'm adjusting, the next minute I'm talking about liver, gallbladder, the next minute I'm talking about weight loss, the next minute. And so he was like, it was kind of like I was all over the place, but I loved it. But I could tell that when I was dealing with like a shape patient or a restorative medicine patient, that I would just kind of come to life. And then when the staff would tell me like, you have a new chiropractic patient, I'd be like, oh, like I wasn't, and it was so subtle that I wasn't even noticing it was happening. But it's like, it's kind of like I needed that swift kick in the butt to figure out that like I wasn't in the right place. And
Yeah.
until like something happening like my shoulder breaking down, and I literally could not. I found out when you have an injured shoulder you can't wash the other shoulder. That's what I found out. But if that wouldn't have happened for me, sometimes I think God comes in and like gives you a swift kick in the butt and makes you kind of figure out. Fast forward, it's been a year now since I've been completely functional medicine, restorative medicine / shape. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize it, but I'm like, I didn't even like it. I didn't even like adjusting people. So it's just kind of funny that, sometimes you get doors shut on you. And at the time it's I had to grieve it a little bit because it was a little bit of my identity. And,
You're
um,
right, right. I have
I,
so many practitioners, chiropractic especially, that have been doing chiropractic for years, and their bodies wear out.
yeah,
I mean, that's physical work when you're doing that year after year after year. And many of them still are so passionate about helping people heal.
yeah,
And shape is just a great way for them to stay engaged in helping sick people get well. They're still, so passionate about it. And I know that you were
yeah,
crazy passionate about it. And
yes,
you've got this whole focus on healing people from the inside out. And
yep.
something that I just saw you post on Facebook, I don't know if it was last week, maybe it was last week, and I thought that is such an amazing graphic. I want to share my screen and I'm going to show, but talk to me just a little bit before we start showing this graphic visual of how people heal.
So I mean, I loved the chiropractic aspect of it, but now I love just letting the chiropractors do the chiropractic aspect of it. And I like to do all the cellular type healing. So I have a very, in the video, when we'll see, I have a very specific way of, um, the timing of how I treat this first, I do this second, I do this third, I do this fourth. That took, I mean, like you mentioned, I've been doing shape for 12 years. Dr. Todd has taught me so much over the last 12 years. And when you get into this, it's kind of like an art. And just because this is the way I do it doesn't mean that's the way other shape practitioners are going to do it. But it's kind of like you learn your own little art to it. So in this video, I just wanted to showcase the exact way that I do this first. And then once this is healed, then I do this second. But shape has really been just like it's the foundation. It's like, if you don't have that foundation, then you can't then get to the next level. And so I wanted to just create a video to just show that, like, hey, it's not going to be easy. The path to healing is not always linear. It's always going to be a little up and down. It's going to be murky water, but eventually the water runs clean. And I do want to just be transparent. I was not the original creator of this video. I just saw it. And I think the original creator was trying to teach about like toxic thoughts or something, but I wanted to be like, no, this is exactly how I heal my patients. So,
well, right, because, you know, SHAPE is all about healing people from the inside out. And we say to all of our practitioners, do what you do and add SHAPE. Do what you do and add SHAPE. You know, SHAPE's four-pronged approach is, you know, first and foremost, it's a gentle detox and cleanse. We tackle, you know, the inflammatory burden like there's no tomorrow. And, you know, inflammatory symptoms, you know, decrease rapidly. We're all about strengthening the immune system. And in this day and age, with what we've just been through in the past few years, we're, you know, really, you know, putting a lot of focus and emphasis is how strong is your immune system. If you get an infection, is your body going to be able to overcome it quickly? And if you've got underlying comorbidity issues, well, we saw what happened, right? So, and then shedding toxic weight just happens to be a side effect. Well, I'm going to share my screen. I've not done this before, but let me just share my screen here. And I'm just going to do this really great graphic. I'm going to turn the volume on, and I'm just going to give it a click so people can see your post. I just think when I saw that, Doc, I thought, oh my gosh, this is the most incredible visual, because, you know, a lot of people, I mean, in today's day and age, they want, you know, instant gratification. You know, they want that drive-through breakthrough. They want the instant, you know, and we are not give a pill, mask a symptom. We're not about that. We're about getting to the underlying root cause, and it's going to take some time. It took time for them to get to the place that they're all inflamed and toxic, and they've got all these lifestyle diseases and stuff. And, you know, SHAPE turns that around. I think you probably heard us say, when we sold Dr. Todd's practice, when he retired from private practice, we had eradicated type 2 diabetes out of our practice. Now, that's not to say that we didn't have patients come and we would start them on the program, and they weren't willing. They weren't willing to change their relationship with food. People have to understand that food is medicine. They've got to change their relationship with food and embrace a healthier lifestyle. So, you know, talk to me about that. When you're working with people, what % of your people, by the time they get to you, they truly understand the kind of work you're going to do, right?
Yeah. Well, so I do a lot of social media, like you showed one of my posts, but I do a lot of that social media. And so usually I don't remember the exact amount of touches it takes now, like 6 to 10 touches, but by the time they're on the camera with me, they already know, like, and trust me, and they kind of already know what I'm about, because I kind of repeat the same things over and over again, like heal on a cellular level, like no pill for nil, holistic. I've let them know kind of what I'm about. So and they go in and they book their own appointments and they fill out their own intake forms. So by the time they've jumped through all those hoops, they are like willing and ready to go. So I would say 100% of the people that join me on like a meet and greet, and then they progress on to an initial consultation or like a case review is what I call it. They're 100% in, they know what I'm about, but I know it would probably be different like in another practice where maybe people are just calling and like my friend told me a little bit about it, that kind of thing. But because I am all virtual, I am all online, they kind of know, like, and trust me, and they kind of know what I'm about already. But I will say that SHAPE when I started with Shape, I just started with like the weight loss aspect of it. That's all I promoted it as. And the reason why I started it was because I had chiropractic patients that were so overweight that if they didn't lose weight, their knee was never going to get better, and their back was never going to get better, and their neck was never going to get better. So I wanted a weight loss program that would help my chiropractic business. What I got in return was now I have this very foundational program that then allows me to clear out, like we can do diet, digestion, and elimination, get all of those processes working together, drive down inflammation, and then we have a chance to even heal something harder than that. Like I have patients that have mold toxicity or autoimmune diseases or, gut diseases, full-blown gut diseases. So that's what I mean about like you need Shape as that foundation. And then once you can really nail down Shape and do it well and understand nutrition and how the body works and blood sugar and things like that, then you can start to go out of the wheel and be like, okay, what's the next step to healing with this person? And I got that way because of your little tagline, think and link, don't name and blame. So instead of being like, I have chronic fatigue syndrome or I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, I call myself a why child, and I would drive people crazy. I drive Dr. Todd crazy, and I would drive my vitamin reps crazy or my colleagues crazy to be like, well, this happens because of this. And I'd be like, okay, but why? And then they would be like, okay, well, I don't know. It's just research is showing this. And I'd be like, okay, but why? Like, why is the immune system attacking the thyroid and shutting down metabolism? What is telling them to shut down metabolism? Same thing with diabetes. What is telling, why on earth would your cells become resistant to sugar getting inside them? Why would they close down? Right. So now where I've arrived now is that I can go down all the way to the mitochondrial, like the cellular level, and I can figure out why the cells became damaged to begin with. But I couldn't do that without first having the foundation. Like if they're going to eat a crappy diet, I can't begin to heal their DNA or their cells or make them more resistant and things like that. So I have to have that in order. And then I'm like, okay, well, this is the next step of wellness. Well, this is the next step of wellness. So I don't remember what the original question was, but that's that's how I treat my patients.
No, that was good. That was good. When we first, I went to Todd and I'm like, you're helping everybody, but you're not helping me. You got to help me. And when we first started using Shape in our practice, it was all about helping the menopausal female that couldn't shed weight. It was about that. And thankfully, I didn't have any underlying health challenges. I just had 4 female surgeries and gained weight after every surgery. I didn't have any of the other issues, but a lot of Todd's menopausal females did. And we got this pilot group of people, doing the program. And it was really shocking to us. We had no idea. I mean, blood sugar started plummeting and blood pressure and lipids were improving and autoimmune symptoms and digestion was improving. And I mean, it was like we were seeing miracles before our eyes. And it was, a few of our really great pharmaceutical reps that came and, they were really, getting wind of what we were doing. And they're like, do not push or promote this as a diet or a weight loss program because Shape is so much more. It is so much more. We shifted our focus right away. And, another one of our practitioners that I interviewed said, Shape levels the playing field. Start with Shape because it goes after those inflammatory symptoms so quickly. It starts strengthening, it starts detoxing. People start shedding weight so quickly that it's easier for the practitioner to figure out what is the underlying root cause. Because how many of your patients come with a laundry list of symptoms?
It's
and
murky
like Dr.
waters.
Todd says, where do you start? Where do you start? You don't, do you shoot for this? Do you shoot for this? And so we say start with Shape because it's going to gently detox and cleanse. It's going to get those inflammatory symptoms under control. It's going to do that. And you've embraced it. I mean, you've got that going. And, you've been doing it for 12 years now. So in that 12 years, you've worked with lots of patients. How often do you have some that did Shape years ago? How often do you have them come back? Or do you recommend periodic detox and cleanse?
Well, yes and yes. So I would say every week I have someone searching me out that maybe did shape like 10 years ago and it worked so great for them, but now they have, another diagnosis or now they're menopausal or whatever the case may be. And they will search me out because they're like, I remember that worked so well that I just want to go back to doing that. Or they ventured off and tried other things and didn't get as good of results. And then they have circled back around and be like, that is the one thing that worked for me. So probably every week I have a reactivation of an old patient. But aside from that, like 3 times a year, we usually do detoxes 3 times a year. So we do it in January after all the holiday fun. I do a spring
perfect
cleaning.
Perfect time.
Yeah. I do a spring cleaning. We can do it either in April or the end of May, beginning of June, because there's like Mother's Day and Memorial Day and all of those kind of fun things in May. So sometimes we do it after
Easter
and then just kind of depending when spring break falls, we'll do it in there. So we do like a winter cleaning or a beginning of the year cleaning. We do a spring cleaning and then we do a fall cleaning. So after they've gotten themselves inflamed from alcohol and barbecue foods, then we do like September, we'll do like another little reset. And
vacationing,
it's good to
visiting guests.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just good to like open up the detox pathways. On a regular basis, because when they're clogged, then a lot of other things suffer. So,
then symptoms start to reappear. And so, after somebody has, done our program and hopefully they have learned that food is medicine, they have changed their relationship with food and they've embraced a healthier lifestyle. It's not easy. I mean, if you've done nothing but buy into mainstream marketing and you think that, the majority of that food that is sold out of the grocery store is good for you, you're in for a big surprise. Because when we put you, on a clean anti-inflammatory diet, the majority of those food friends, people, have a toxic relationship with food and they don't realize that their food friends are really not their friend at all. It's the enemy and it's causing, all their inflammatory issues. So I think it's just great that, you've maintained some long-term relationships with your patients, and shape is a lifestyle. So, periodically we do detoxes. So I think that's really great. How many of your patients do you think, after they're finished, do they say to you, Doc, I feel better when I take the drops? Is it okay if I continue taking the drops?
Yeah, I would say it's at least 50%, maybe more like around 60 or 70. I don't want them to think I'm just trying to sell them. Like, you just need to get on these drops and stay on them forever. I'm going to be like very transparent about that. But I'll say, you've reached your goal weight, we've healed XYZ, and it's totally up to you. You can continue taking the drops at more of a maintenance dose. I would see you like very less frequent. And then that's that. Or you don't have to, but I will tell you that my patients that continue taking it, they continue taking it for the anti-inflammatory purposes of it. And I don't think we mentioned, and I'm sure the people that are going to be watching this video know that shape works on you from the brain down. So the HPA axis then talks to the adrenals, then it talks to the thyroid. So when we're talking about that exact thing, it just keeps everything in balance. So I would say 50 to 70% of my patients just continue taking a maintenance dose of shape, because they'll notice if they don't, they just feel out of balance, or little joint pains and things like that will come back.
Well, in the average person, I mean, unless you're in healthcare, the average person doesn't think about the job of the hypothalamus and the pituitary. They don't. And shape heals and enhances the communication, as we say, between the hypothalamus and the pituitary. And when they're talking to each other better, they're going to send clearer endocrine and metabolic messages down to the body. So the body is just going to function better. I proudly have been taking these drops for 15 years. I was the first person that said, Todd, I'm just going to take them all the time. they're like my homeopathic multi. I mean,
Right.
every ingredient that Dr. Todd put in this product has a specific purpose. It has a role in what it's doing to help heal the
Hmm.
body. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so many wind up just continuing to take the drops. Well, it's been, we love, Todd and I have said so often, like, I mean, Shape, he developed Shape and we had no intentions for it becoming a national program. And here we have, hundreds and hundreds of practitioners across the country using the
Yeah.
product. And the thing that is so awesome to us is we love building these wonderful relationships with practitioners. We would have never known you had it
I
not been for
know.
Shape. And, we consider you just a wonderful, dear friend and colleague. And I love that you have leaned on Dr. Todd. You have reached out to him or Dr. Beth. She also is one of our technical advisors.
Yeah.
If you've got any patient challenge. So I love that you do that. What I love more than anything is that you are getting ready to jump in a little bit deeper. So you've been studying facial diagnosis from Dr. Todd since you were introduced to Shape, and he has a master class, and you're just wanting to step up your
Yeah.
knowledge. And I think you said when school starts back, you're
Yes.
going to have some extra time because you have kids home for the summer,
Yes.
and you're going to dive in. And I will tell you, when you start using facial diagnosis on a consistent basis and you are providing people, once you start using the software and you provide them those in-depth
Yeah.
facial analysis reports,
They're going to
you
feel
are
like I'm a
never,
psychic.
yeah, right. People, listen, there were times way back when Todd was in active practice and people would come in and they would go, okay, like my friend told me that you could just look at my face and you could tell what's going on with my health. So they would
Yeah.
not want to fill out our intake paperwork, and Todd would go, no, okay, well, I can do that. I can look at your face and tell you what's going on with your
Yeah.
health, but you need to fill out my intake
Yeah.
paperwork. And,
Why am I here? You
they
tell me.
thought that, yeah, they thought he was a cheater, and he would go, okay, well, you've got this, your face is telling me this, this, and this, and that.
Yeah.
They would go, how do you know that? And he goes,
Yeah.
because I read it on your face. And
Oh my
so
gosh.
I am excited for you. I know you're already familiar with facial diagnosis, and I know you're already looking at faces, but when you finish that master class, you're going to be a master. You're going to be a
Yeah.
master face reader, and you are never going to look at another patient the same again. It's going to be able to help you pick up those physiological weaknesses and imbalances, and it's just going to take you to the next level. And it's the confidence that your patient is going to have in you when you're able to do this. So I'm really excited about that. And Doc, I guess one of my last questions is 12 years. You've been with us 12 years and you're still using Shape and it's still at the foundation. And there are so many products and programs
Yeah.
available to you today, yet you continue to put your trust and faith in our product and program. Can you share with me why?
Yeah. Okay. So, well, Shape continues to kind of like cross all the T's and dot all the I's as far as like foundational. But the thing I love about restorative medicine is that it can continue to humble you and you continue the more clinical skills you acquire, you start getting harder and harder cases. So I was just chatting with Dr. Todd last week. Our
That's the truth.
talks like 12 years ago used to be completely different than they are now. I used to call them and be like, I found this,
Absolutely.
what's this? Or what's a monocyte? Or what's, like even though I had been through chiropractic school, there was, in school, there's a lot of information dumped at you. But when I used to call him, it would be like very foundational things. And then he called me one day. He's like, I noticed you don't call me anymore. And he's like, and this kind of happens like as you get more and more proficient with Shape, you don't call as much anymore because your clinical skills have got to the next level. And now I feel like I am, and so now I was chatting with him last week, and he was like, "You're not going to get any easy cases anymore. You're not just going to get weight loss cases. You're not just going to get gut cases.
That's
You're
right.
going to get the cases now that nobody else can figure out." So I
That's
need
right.
shape to be that foundation, because I need that to clear out any inflammatory issues, reset the hypothalamus, to change their relationship with food, to heal their gut, even though there may be other measures that need to be taken. But I need those antioxidants coming in to reduce the cellular damage. I need that foundation in order to then take on these harder cases. And so it continues to cross the T's and dot the I's for me on that front. And I have, like you said, have so many reactivations of patients that did it like years ago, and they went off on a tangent and did a bunch of other programs and then circled back around to Shape. So that continues to work for them. And then I've had colleagues that have gone off on tangents, tried other programs, and then also circled back around to Shape. So I just kind of feel like I'm in the lane. I'm where I'm supposed to be. It continues to heal people on such a powerful level, and it allows me to take on harder cases that I literally have MDs now texting me like, these are the blood findings. What do you think? And I'm like, oh, that's how you know you've arrived. When you have your primary care physician or other physicians reaching out to you, and they're like, this patient has gut issues, blood sugar issues, this issue, that, like, she literally typed, I don't even know where to start. And I was like, I do. So yeah, I don't see myself going anywhere anytime soon. And it just continues to cross the T's, dot the I's, and anyone that leaves comes back. So.
Well, it's such a blessing and a joy for us to get to know you and help you. You've got many, many years to go, and we're on the other end of the spectrum. We're retired from private practice, and now we just support all of our Shape practitioners and teach and train and help them be the best clinician that they can be. And it's just an honor for us to continue working with you. And I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for just, loving Shape and being loyal. It's just, it's been so wonderful for us to be able to meet all kinds of wonderful practitioners across the country. And we're here for you. So thanks for all that you do.
And I want to help you guys for, it's kind of all your guys' fault. So I want to thank you for your time. You've put in a lot more time than I've put in terms of today, but like Dr. Todd has poured into me for the last 12 years. And this is kind of the 2.0 version of me. And like I said, I just used to only use Shape for weight loss only, and that was awesome by itself. But then now, clinically, you can take on really hard cases and feel really confident.
Well, we had this game plan. We were going to retire from private practice down in St. Louis, and Dr. Todd wanted to move back to northern Wisconsin, and we thought we were just going to move up here and chill. And I don't know, God had another plan for us, and we love it. We're Todd said retirement didn't take. So, but we love, we love what we do.
Same.
Right. We love what we do, and we love being able to help you. So thanks so much again for your time today, Doc.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yep. We'll be in touch soon, and love you and love the work you're doing, and just can't wait to see what's in store for your future.
Thank you. Love you guys too.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.